Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for that very kind introduction. I would like to thank my good friend Jason Flom and the organizers here today for inviting me and my team for this beautiful event. Thank you very much. Today I'd like to share my story with you. I was born in 1982 in Soweto, Johannesburg, South Africa, during the time when the apartheid government was at the helm of the South African society. A government, in fact, so brutal that if a child was found to be born from a mixed-race couple, they would remove that child and put it in an area completely separate from both parents where only mixed-race people were put. A gentleman by the name of Steve Biko, founder of the Black Consciousness Movement, was arrested, incarcerated, didn't even last a week before he died in incarceration. You move here to America and you look at the civil rights movement. You talk about Malcolm X, you talk about Martin Luther King, people who were killed for furthering, protecting the rights of others. In 2003, I lost my mother to HIV/AIDS. In 2005, I lost my father to HIV/AIDS. And so as a family, we had to gather and tell the world of how we had lost my father. And so we got together and were discussing, and one of my cousins said, well, we can say pneumonia or TB because HIV/AIDS doesn't kill you, it kills your immune system. And my grandfather said, no, we shall not do that. We shall simply say the life of my son was taken by HIV/AIDS. And so we went there and we told the world what had transpired. And it was the first time a prominent family on the continent of Africa had actually disclosed the real cause of death of one of their loved ones. And this gave courage and confidence to many people around the world, not just in Africa, to start tackling the stigma that exists around HIV/AIDS. And as you know, many people who contract HIV/AIDS are of different sexual orientation. But when they go and get tested, they are not able to bring their partner because they fear the discrimination that they may get at the very hospital, at the very same place where they're supposed to be treated with love and care. That is an infringement on human rights. When you find refugees risking their lives from the top of Africa with their babies and children taking a little raft to cross the Mediterranean Ocean to get to Europe, searching for opportunity, searching for education because of the exploitation by the European countries in Africa by taking all their resources, benefiting their people, but leaving nothing left from the country that they've exploited those resources. And so when you are left with nothing and have taken everything, you have no choice but to risk your life to cross that Mediterranean Ocean. And when you get there, they say, no, you must send them back. That is infringement on human rights. Ladies and gentlemen, right here in America, where 12% of the population comprise of African Americans, yet in the prison, they constitute 32% of the population. When you look at the laws, the justice, the criminal justice system, why are there different sentencing guidelines for drug users who use cocaine versus those who use crack? Is it because the majority of the ones that use crack are black and those who use cocaine white? Is that not an infringement on human rights? So, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you today to break the silence that exists. Let us break the silence whenever we see prejudice rearing its ugly head in our society or even in our homes. Let us break the silence when we see domestic violence, when we see racism. Let us break the silence, ladies and gentlemen. How about we challenge the president of the most powerful nation here in America? What are we challenging him to do? We are challenging him to make sure that he pardons or commutes low-level, non-violent drug offenders. I was very touched. I met a young brother of mine, Lenny Singleton, who's here with us. This gentleman spent 23 years in jail because he stole $550 worth of goods. First-time offender with a degree from university, 2 life sentences for stealing $550 of goods. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time we break the silence. Nelson Mandela says, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to invoke the spirit of Nelson Mandela within you. I want to invoke the spirit of Frederick Douglass in you. When I say, long live the spirit of Nelson Mandela, long live, I want you to answer and say, long live. Are you ready? Long live the spirit of Nelson Mandela, long live. Long live the spirit of Frederick Douglass, long live. Thank you.